I've studied hundreds of landing pages in the last couple of years, and here's how to make yours better. In this video, we're going to walk through 7 tips that are going to help you create much better landing pages for your brands. Now, in this video, we'll walk through everything from the top of the landing page towards the bottom, what's really needed to convert users, and also how you can actually go ahead and make them yourselves. So tip number 1 is your headline is very important. What you write in your site's copy is just as important as the layout and the design of your website. So a brand that does this really well is actually Wild Dose. It's got a very simple yet catchy headline. So a wild dose away from a bloat-free belly. Very simple, easy to understand as a consumer, followed by a call to action button. Now this call to action button is not your simple shop now. Again, a very strategic move, in my opinion, of having a call to action which encourages user behavior. So in this scenario, it's let's go. Naturally, it takes you towards the product page. Now, tip number 2 is actually adding the use of social proof. So social proof usually adds instant credibility towards your brand. What you want to do is tell people exactly what others think of your product, or better yet, who's using your product. Give people the best impression of your brand as quickly as possible. Now, a brand that does this really well is SolarWave. They've got immediately a before and after photo, so day 1 and then a day 21, followed by a simple quote by an existing customer. They've also got a more of a long form quote here, which I think is great. Similar to like a testimonial followed by a call to action, which shows the product that they're featuring. Now, when you've got brands where you're altering the skin or altering something about the physical appearance, you want to make sure you're adding some type of disclaimer at the bottom that, individual results may vary. This also applies for consumables. You want to make sure that if you are featuring any before and afters, you want to have some type of disclaimer to make sure you don't get pulled up on that. When you're actually looking to create some type of social proof, you need to figure out how this applies directly to your audience. Another form of social proof is actually the mentioning of PR articles that you feature on particular blogs or press articles. And what that does is just helps build more deeper relationships with your customers, allows them to trust you on a deeper level, and also read up on you on Google when they're doing some type of research. This is usually common when you look at brands like skincare brands, anything beauty related. There's an extra layer of trust that you kind of have to go through in order to win that order from your customer. Moving towards tip number 3, you want to really get to the point. So one thing I've noticed in landing pages is they'll try to tell a story, but the story really leads nowhere. You really want to just get to the point, keep it brief, keep it simple. Customers usually want to buy the outcomes and not the products. So this is really prevalent in skincare, where they want to know how you can help them rather than what the product's main benefits are. How we like to treat it when we're writing copy is almost treat it like a speed date. You want to get across the most important pieces of information in the shortest amount of time. This really helps us avoid things like a higher bounce rate and also making them really scroll past the fold. This piece of advice doesn't really lean mostly towards copy. It also helps with things like structure. You don't want to add unnecessary pieces of structure in your landing page that prevents users from scrolling or getting to the offer. Tip number 4 is a very underrated, but honestly something that a lot of brands need to really focus on, especially in 2024, is making sure your site is actually responsive and loads fast. Now, both the responsiveness and the speed of your site depends on what platform you use. Ideally, you want to build majority of your landing pages through Shopify. If you can't, platforms like Unbounce are really good, and also Replo. These are great alternatives we personally use for majority of our clients. Majority of the website visitors that come from ads are actually loading it on mobile. You'll notice at least 80 to 90% of people who transact on your website come from the mobile device rather than desktop. So make sure when you're building your landing page, build it from mobile first, and then make any changes that are needed towards desktop later on once you've completed the mobile build. Tip number 5 is to actually include more GIF and video content rather than images on your landing page. GIFs and videos allow you to tell a story that images can't really do so, or even copy itself. Where we see GIFs work really well is when someone's applying a step-by-step routine. This usually comes in the form of some type of skincare routine, or actually how to use a product if it's really difficult to explain through words. Another good way you can actually use videos is through reviews. Jarvis do a really good job of this, where they actually embed a lot of their video reviews. It allows customers to actually scroll through and see how people are even using the product and what they actually think of the product. Ideally, in this scenario, you want to make sure it looks too scripted, so I wouldn't add any video ads here that are testimonials. I would make sure these are generic customer testimonials that you get either through some type of email from your customer or if they submit it directly through social media. Now, tip number 6, I consider this almost the most important section of your landing page, which is the why section. So the better you understand your target audiences, the better landing pages you can build, I strongly believe. So I always recommend to do in-depth user research and make informed decisions based on those. So the why sections usually help to understand, as a customer, why should I be going with your brand versus the 100 other supplement brands that are available on the site. A company that does a really good job of explaining the why section of a landing page is Curology. They have a lot of before and afters. They had a lot of real patients, real results. And they talk about really the science behind their ingredients and why they're actually much better than other skincare brands. Tip number 7 is the final tip of the video. In this one, we want to showcase your benefits, make it all about the customer, showcase how your product and how the benefits of your product can help them improve their lives. Now, this is something that you want to use throughout the landing page. This can even come in the headline, can be in a sub-headline, or it can even be the use of the product ingredients that you mentioned after your offer. Some brands that do this really well are brands like Alpha Brain, where they showcase directly on the website and their landing page how Alpha Brain has been formulated to support cognitive functions. These are usually mentioned throughout the landing page through the verbiage that they use and also where they place it on the landing page. So this is something I think you should directly incorporate into your landing page. Figure out how those product benefits can turn into consumer needs and showcase how it can provide direct impact towards their lives. Now that's the end of this video. If you want to see more content around landing pages, feel free to comment below and I'll go ahead and make some more content around that. I'll also link all the landing pages I've shown in this video directly in the comments below. Feel free to check it out, get some ideas from it, and also see how you can apply them directly to your brands. Until then, I'll catch you guys next time.